Jerry West, the Laker great, kind enough to join us. Jerry, thank you for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you, Dan. It's nice to spend time with you. Unfortunately, a situation like this, it's not a lot of fun to talk about. It's just up all night thinking about a lot of personal things that no one had a chance to share with the two of us when he was younger, a young, aspiring 17-year-old kid. And every time I turn around, I just think the devastation to not only to his family, but to the other families on board the plane, and lives cut short, hopes cut short. It just will leave a pall over this city for a while, that's for sure.
Why did you feel like a surrogate father to him?
Well, he was so young when he came here, and he didn't drive around the city, didn't know anything, and he was so inquisitive. Spent time with my kids, Ryan and Johnny, and Johnny was a real little guy then, and Ryan drove him to his first practice. He would eat dinner at our house here. Arn Tellum, who was his agent at that time, was and still is a very close personal friend of mine. And it was almost like you're, helping a young kid get through the minefields of just going to college, and much less a teenager who couldn't even sign a contract because he was 17 years old. So always wanting to go to the gym, watching him work out, ask me if there's anything that I would recommend for him, which at that point in time I did. I would go work with him early on a number of times during the first 2 years here, and then to watch his star ascend in Los Angeles, an enormous success he had. And I saw somebody mention this last night. I'm not sure who it was to give credit to, but that singular name, Kobe. No one ever mentioned Kobe Bryant. It was Kobe.
Yeah.
And to watch him grow and retire 20 years with one franchise, to watch a new career that was growing by leaps and bounds. He was brilliant, smart, hard worker, and everyone said, talked about the people he inspired. He inspired so many women. That was what, to me, young women. He inspired them like no others. He inspired young men to chase their dreams, but to be committed in chasing them. And he had a grace about him. A few players have it. A few players have that special something. Irvin Johnson had it, but he was not Kobe Bryant. Irvin just played with this smile on his face. Kobe played with this almost vindictive attitude that you're not going to beat this team and you're not going to beat me. And frankly, I think those are the things I resonated with because during my time when I played, I didn't like anyone I played against. It felt like more like a war when you played. And as I say, yesterday was a very difficult day, and this is not going to go away for me, Dan. It's not going to go away for a lot of people, but the families, oh my God, to get his Christmas cards, to see him interact with his young girls, a joy. See him, didn't go to the Laker game, but every time he went, of course, they had him on TV, and I don't go to the Laker games. And just to watch his little girl who passed away with him lean up against him and hug her dad, and how just see him playing around together. And it was a tribute to a man who had changed, to become this incredible father, this iconic figure not just in Los Angeles, but all over the world, in China, in Europe. His ability to speak 3 different languages. His dad played in Italy. There is a storyline here that this could only happen in America. And to be taken away so quickly, it just does not seem fair. At times, I had a brother killed in Korea, and frankly, this affected me the same way. A life taken too short, but my brother was deeply religious, and it even makes you question faith that something like this could happen. But I have a friend of mine, we always talk about there's a day that somebody puts up there for you, and you just never know when it's going to be. But yesterday was a god-awful day.
Remember the first time you saw Kobe?
Oh, yeah. I saw him on film when he was in high school. He won a state championship, and obviously was aware of his background because of his father. And then when he was in Los Angeles, his agent wanted us to work him out, which we did with some other kids, and he was by far, it was like no one else was in the gym, and these people were taken in the first round. And, didn't think we had a chance to even get in a running for him. But his agent, Arntel again, who was my friend, he wanted him to play in Los Angeles. And we had Michael Cooper to work out against him, and Michael Cooper was a tremendous defensive player. And it got to the point where it was almost embarrassing to watch this 17-year-old kick this old man's fanny, I called Michael at that time. And I just said, hey, we don't need to see this anymore. This is ridiculous. I mean, this guy he's the best player in the draft. And at that time, it wasn't in vogue to draft 17 years old. So we had a grander plan. Late Jerry Buss and I had spent so much time together talking about how we could re-energize this franchise and, more importantly, put us in a position to be serious title contender. And our first prize was, of course, Shaquille O'Neal, and didn't think that, honestly, that maybe we wouldn't have a chance. But there was other players out there that would have been really good, not him, for a lot of different reasons. But and then to get this young kid through a lot of maneuvering, basically begging us to take somebody to take our starting center, who, and at that point in time, everyone said, well, we don't want to trade with you because there's something wrong with your center, and there wasn't anything wrong with him. He's a terrific center, Vlade Divac. Finally, that got accomplished, and then trying to get Kobe Bryant here, and we got him afterwards. And I told Shaquille O'Neal after this draft, I said, look, we got one of the greatest, going to be one of the greatest players that ever played this game. I said, he's young, and I said, he's going to be great. And I don't know if that meant anything to Shaquille, but I think when he got here and saw his talent and how dominant they were together, it was one of my proudest moments, and I'm sure one of the late Jerry Buss' proudest moments, to see those two guys on the court together. And thank the fans. Had 20 years of watching this enormous talent, watching him build this bridge for the city of Los Angeles to rally behind the Lakers, and more importantly, again, that singular name, Kobe. It doesn't seem right to have it all gone.
He's Jerry West, the Laker great Hall of Famer, and he's the one that pulled off that deal so the Lakers could draft Kobe Bryant. Is there one game that stands out to you, Jerry? Because I want to celebrate Kobe, because there's so much to celebrate, and that's why it hurts so much, is because of what he meant to so many people. But I didn't know if there was a game or a moment where you look back on and it makes you smile?
Well, actually, there was so many with him, and a lot of it, Dan, happened in practice. To be honest with you, okay, he was, as I say, he would, the players would call him Hollywood because of the way he played. He'd dribble through 5 guys, not run a play, and dunk the ball, and it's all well and good to hear the name Hollywood, but I had a very serious talk with him, and because he wouldn't get an opportunity to play, and he was young and wanted to play. And I said, look, Kobe, I said, you're playing a team game. And I said, regardless of what you do, you're going to be great. I said, you're going to be one of the best players ever played this game. But I said, until you find a way to bridge this gap with some of the players in terms of not dominating the game, play within a system that a coach has established for you. And it was more than once they talked to him about it, and because it was frustrating to watch this talent that probably need to be channeled in a little bit different direction. And when he made that change, then I was involved in a trade that a lot of people weren't happy with, that we traded Eddie Jones to Miami, who was an all-star player himself, and you just could not deny Kobe Bryant. He was going to take Eddie Jones' job. He was going to do it. And it was just a matter of minutes, to be honest with you. And it gave Eddie a chance to go on and have a long, productive career in Miami. And it freed him to be Kobe. But there were just so many things that were personal, not his play. I mean, his play was ridiculous, what he would do. He did things that he was just with this skill and the drive that he had. There's nothing that he was not going to accomplish. He was always searching for ways to get better. He was always, mine was like a steel trap in terms of that focus on his career being the best player in the league. And he did it.
Well, I think you saw a little bit of you in Kobe. I don't know. Did you?
Well, as I say, I was a completely different personality. I was more introverted than him, and I played the game. I didn't like the players I played against. To me, it was more like a war, which is the way Kobe approached the game. And I think that's why that it just grew. That part of him grew on me. I see the players today all smiling and giggling on the bench today. Teams getting beat by 20 points, and oh my gosh, as a player, I don't think I could do that. I don't think it's fair to the game. I don't think it's fair to the fans. People enjoy the incredible personalities we have, these enormous athletes we have playing in the game today. It was always much more serious to me when a fan paid to come to see a game. They paid for 2 things: playing as hard as you could possibly play, and also hoping that if they were rooting for the Lakers at that point in time, that they won. And as I say, it's not that I dislike players today, but I wish there was more. When I see teams laughing and they're 20 points behind, oh my goodness, that really bothers me. And frankly, I probably, if I were running a team today, I probably would have a talk with players because I don't think that's the way it should be approached. People pay a lot of money to see these players play. And they play to see them because some of them are just attract fans. Some of them are, people just admire so much. LeBron James comes to mind today. And a number of others in the league. But some of them have personalities that people come to see. And again, LeBron James was one of those guys. Kareem, Shaquille O'Neal. And I mentioned those guys, Kobe, Irvin Johnson, and to think almost all of these unbelievable players, how many of them played in Los Angeles for this city, to see that kind of talent every night. You just don't see that. It's like having a chance to go see Whitney Houston, Pavarotti. It's an event, and they get to see him.
Get spoiled
sometimes a year.
Yeah,
you do get spoiled. Your fans get spoiled, and their critics come out. All the people that were critical of Kobe when he was, when things weren't going for the team, all the people who are now praising him, they're the same people that were criticizing him because they were looking to create controversy when there was no controversy. It was just a young player and a team trying to find an identity for themselves, and God pity those people.
I hated to have you on in these circumstances, but I'm glad I had you on because you came to mind immediately in your role in all of this, and I hope there's some kind of smile that you can have at some point in this week, Jerry. And as always, I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you, Dan. It's just today was bad. Yesterday was really horrible, and today really hadn't started out very well either. So it'll be a while, but again, my thought, prayers go out to the families that were affected by this, and how devastating it was for so many people, and to lose this iconic leader of young men and women who is embarking on his second career. Again, it just doesn't seem fair.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Dan.
Hall of Famer, Jerry West.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.